Leadership has always required clarity, but the world executives lead today is far more complex than anything previous generations faced. The terrain has changed. Teams are no longer concentrated in a single building or even a single country. Remote and hybrid work have created layers of distance. Time zones stretch the workday. Cultural diversity shapes every meeting. And the speed of business continues to accelerate. In this environment, communication is no longer just a leadership skill, it's the infrastructure holding everything else together. Yet most leadership models were built for a simpler era. They assume shared cultural norms, shared language fluency, predictable schedules, and stable organizational structures. They assume that a leader's message will reach teams unaltered. They assume people understand communication the same way. None of this is true anymore. And that is precisely why the MC³ method was created. A world that outpaced traditional leadership models. The modern executive works inside a landscape that shifts constantly. Teams spread across borders. Hybrid meetings where half the meaning evaporates through screens. Multiple time zones requiring precision in both timing and clarity. Cultures that interpret tone, hierarchy, and urgency differently. Customers expecting instant solutions. Organizations restructuring faster than people can adapt. In these conditions, even strong communicators find themselves misunderstood, misinterpreted, or misquoted, not because they're unclear, but because global systems distort messages as they move. What executives need now is not more talent or charisma. They need a communication method built for complexity. Why MC³ was designed for this moment? MC³ doesn't ask leaders to speak more clearly. It doesn't rely on soft skill theory or inspirational soundbites. Instead, it offers something leaders have been missing, a communication system that produces clarity even when circumstances don't. The method begins with the MC³ executive mindset, which reframes communication from a personal style to an operational responsibility. Leaders learn to see clarity as something measurable, observable, and repeatable, not something that depends on intuition. From there, the method introduces executive communication controls, practical, real-world tools leaders can rely on under pressure. These controls stabilize communication across languages, cultures, and departments. They slow down the drift that normally causes mixed messages, mismatched expectations, and silent confusion. The book brings these ideas to life through real scenarios from multicultural operations, tense meetings, hybrid discussions, cross-country misunderstandings, and situations where silence carries different meanings depending on who is listening. Every example reflects a challenge leaders are actually facing right now. MC³ shows them how to navigate those moments with precision, not guesswork. Practical tools for a complex world. What sets MC³ apart from traditional leadership advice is its practicality. Every tool has a purpose. Stabilizing how messages travel through the organization. Reducing misinterpretation caused by cultural or linguistic differences. Helping leaders time their communication strategically. Ensuring clarity is verified, not assumed. Integrating communication across departments so nothing falls between the cracks. This isn't theory. This is communication as an operational system, the way quality, safety, or finance have systems. In a global organization, clarity cannot rely on a leader's good day. It must hold steady, even when the environment does not. A blueprint for the future of leadership? Perhaps the most transformative aspect of MC³ is its integration blueprint. Communication becomes the thread connecting operations, leadership, quality, culture, and reputation. It becomes a function that strengthens the organization rather than one that quietly creates risk. Teams begin to respond faster. Departments align more easily. Leaders gain visibility and influence. And miscommunication, once an invisible cost, becomes something they can actively control. This is communication for real life, real pressure, and real multicultural complexity. The leaders who will shape the next decade. As the launch of MC³ for executives approaches, one reality is becoming impossible to ignore: the executives who master communication will be the ones who lead the next decade of global business. Not because they speak more. Not because they inspire more. But because they know how to create clarity when the environment makes it difficult. The MCQ'd method was built for leaders who want that level of control. A new standard of communication is arriving, and the leaders prepared for it will move ahead of everyone else.